In this video, I'm going to take you very rapidly over the topic of how to choose a target when you're developing a drug. So, how do you do that? Well, the usual way to do it is, first of all, to understand the system. So, let's think about a drug for blood pressure, for example. You're probably familiar with this system where you have the blood pressure being detected, and that results in, if the blood pressure falls, you have an increase in renin, and the renin stimulates the angiotensin system, and that then results in vasoconstriction. This is really simplified. I'm sure you know, because there's angiotensin 1, 2 and 3 and so on and so on. So what you would do is you pick a target. So for example, you might look at the cells which secrete the renin, for example, and you might say, I'm going to target the cells, and I'm going to actually target the enzyme which produces the renin. Or here, for example, you might say, well, here we've got angiotensin receptors. What I'm going to do is I'm going to find a drug which blocks these, and that should therefore block the rise in blood pressure. So you choose a target by understanding the system, and you're looking for a protein that you can find drugs or chemicals which will block that protein or stimulate that protein, as the case may be. So, what sort of target do you want? Well, there's several things that are going to drive your decision, and one of them is how specific your target is. So if you're blocking, for example, an enzyme which generates ATP, that's a bad idea, but blocking specifically one subtype of angiotensin receptors, that's a good idea. 2, you want a target which is easy to reach, so it's accessible. And the third thing, which is important, is that, just to note that it is easier to make an antagonist than an agonist, because all an antagonist will do is to get in the way, whereas an agonist has to not only get into the binding pocket, but also has to evoke a response as well. So then the art of choosing a drug target is all down to understanding the system and understanding the system and choosing something in the system where if you knock it out or increase it in some way, you restore the problem that you're trying to solve.